Hello, everybody! Happy New Year! This is a little weird space-time continuum thing because we are recording on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it's New Year's Eve. I don't know.
We are speaking to you in a whole new year.
I'm wearing a sparkly top.
There's a dad joke there somewhere.
Are we deleting dad jokes? Can we get rid of those in the new year?
We can make a resolution to do this. And Bridget and I, we started talking a little bit via text. Is it texting or talking?
I think we just call it talking.
And
These days.
I'm so excited. I love New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is like, I just have this, I go stupid insane on, this is the one night of the year that I take advantage of the fact that we own a butcher shop. And I go stupid insane on the meat, I go stupid insane on the wine, and I drop some money. And it just, I have this like hopefulness. I'm by nature like an optimist. I'm by nature someone, I love building, I love creating, I love having this faith in things are going to be bigger and better. And I was like, I'm just so excited. It's going to be great. I'm going to make this awesome food. We're going to have like my favorite wine. And Bridget goes,
I don't really care about New Year's. Okay, to be clear, in my current age situation in life, I don't care about New Year's. In my previous life, I was all about
Bridget,
New Year's.
you own so much sparkly
I know.
stuff. You own too much sparkly stuff and love champagne too much. And you're like, I didn't get this because you're like, let's go out, let's party, let's have some sparkly stuff, drink some champs.
But now I'm like worried. Now what I do is like, I don't want to be on the road because there's so many dangerous
I am worried about that as well.
That is what I do on New Year's now. I'm like, I don't even want to go to the grocery store.
I want to be home.
Like, yeah, by the fire.
I want to hold Elliot this closely.
I did say to Nick, I'm like, I don't really care if I just like sit by the fireplace and like do some work. Because it's just like a day that the rest of the world stops. So I'm like, oh, I can get caught up. Okay. I will drink champagne regardless, though.
So we are, I think listeners know, we are both really planning-oriented types.
Yes.
But Bridget is even more planning-oriented than I am.
Yeah.
And she has done a great job on this podcast outline. So kudos to you,
Thanks,
Bridget.
man. It's a skill of mine.
I love this question you put on here. We decided we want to talk a little bit about New Year, looking forward. We have a couple Christmas things, because thank you for understanding our break. The New Year's episode of Pinky's Up got huge downloads.
Yes, you guys. And I have a gift for you that I should have given you on that episode. But I'll bring it out at the right time.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, surprise.
So, so you put on here, when did you know this year was going to be different?
Yep.
So am I supposed to answer first, or I mean, I asked you a question of myself, so it's a little weird.
I mean, I'll answer if you want.
Yeah, go.
So,
I'm going to open this
and
one.
I don't know, like, I loved this question because I really was excited to hear your answer. I very distinctly remember, so Elliot's birthday is March 9th, and that was completely normal. Like, we had a bowling party. Like, it was normal and so fun. Elliot had a tantrum, but okay. So anyway, that was completely normal March 9th. Then fast forward.
Things were normal.
I'm trying to pinpoint like the day this all happened.
Woo!
So to me, when I knew that things were different, is the day we had to cancel our St. Patrick's Day event, actually. So we had a really cool St. Patrick's Day event planned at Lake Geneva Country Meets. My maiden name is Gallagher, for those of you that don't know. So our family's pretty Irish. We love St. Patrick's Day. So I was super excited to do this event. It was like, we had planned out the whole year, like we've talked about, and we waited, like, we didn't know. We're like, no, it should be fine, actually. Like, the event's outdoors. It's in this blow-up pub, but it's fine. And then, like, the day before, we're like, oh, it's not fine. Like, we cannot have people together, period. So I think it was March 16th for me. It was the day I knew that, like, the world was going to be different.
So this is funny because my answer is actually very similar.
This is what I was so curious about when I thought of this.
So, as you dedicated listeners know, I'm a huge New York Times person. I listen to their podcast, The Daily. I read the newspaper on my phone every day. When Simona gets older, we're actually going to like get it delivered, so she sees us like reading a newspaper. Yep. She can. But so they talked about what's happening in Wuhan starting in January, and I'm like, my God, if the New York Times is putting this much editorial coverage on it. And their infectious disease reporter guy is like a genius, and he like very clearly in about a week went from like, this is something we should watch, but these things happen, they pop up. And Michael Barbaro, the host, was like, he asked these like very deep questions. Well, but what about, is this a zoological, and the guy's like, this it sounds bad, but it does happen. And then about a week later, he's like, I'm buying hand sanitizer, I'm buying gloves, I am, making sure I have all my immunizations up to date. he's like asthmatic, so he's like, I'm getting all my medicine. And I was like, and this is in January. I'm like, oh shit, this is serious.
That was early, man.
I went to Las Vegas at the end of February for a couple days of refresh, and coming back, there are people on the and I love walking up and down the strip. I just love it, like especially early in the morning. When there's not that many people out.
You do Vegas in a very different way than me.
And I love the people watching. I love all of it. And I was listening to the podcasts from New York Times, and they're talking about this, and I'm just like, man, this is so weird. It almost felt like this post-op, apocalyptic thing. And on the flight back, some guy's like, do you want hand sanitizer? I'm like, no. I was ahead of the curve on knowing this is not a surface transmittable disease.
Oh, God.
But it was Elliot's birthday party, because we got there a little after it started, and Elliot was having his breakdown in the parking lot.
Meltdown. We removed him from his own party.
Sarah and I were walking in, and we had this conversation of like, I don't know, this feels weird, like, because I also didn't feel super great. And so we're like,
early spreader.
No, so we were like,
birthday.
And that was when I was like, and like, given like Australia burned down, Kobe was dead, like all of these things, that was we're like,
should we be doing this?
This is weird.
I don't
so
remember
it was actually Elliot's thing, and then like I think I like right after I'm like, Bridget, I think we gotta cancel St. Patrick's Day. I think I was ahead of you on that one.
You were, I think. I like still had a birthday party, so I didn't know. I was like, I don't know.
I was just like, oh, this is so sad. So
good times, guys. So that was fun.
All right, so we're going to skip. We have a few more New Year's things, but let's talk about this wine. This is Spanish sparkling wine. It is Gramona. It is cava. I generally hate cava.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, we need to do that closer to the microphone.
Oh, okay. Cheers. Was that loud
There we
enough?
go. You guys can hear that. But this is good. This is my family-owned company. They really focus on quality, do things a little different. It's a specific place outside of Barcelona that this comes from.
Why do you like this cava and not others, Nick?
It's cleaner. It doesn't taste like dirt.
Yeah. Yum. No dirt cava. Happy New Year. It is good, but I mean, I'm less picky.
It's still only like $20.
Great.
For sparkling wine, $20 is a pretty low bar.
So upgrade to that $20.
The $9 that Segura that we picked was, but yeah.
Got some in my fridge, man.
It's also 12% alcohol, so you can just kill a bottle and be like, let's go!
It is New Year's, guys. New Year's Eve, so we're celebrating.
Do you ever make resolutions?
Okay, so generally no. I think they're dumb, and I think that they set your year up for failure, which, like, you can fight me about this, but do you agree?
I always set something to work on as a person. I don't set, like, a resolution.
I do, like, things. Like, we did this is hilarious and ironic. Last year, we did
Last year, if you're listening, has been hilariously ironic.
So, 2019 into 2020, my sister hosted a vision board party, and like,
oh, that's right.
And it was
that was
so
really
fun.
Cool how she did that.
It really wasn't. There was a group of friends of us, like our good friends, that had been talking about doing this forever.
Yeah.
So she put it together. We like straight up.
Oh my god, that feels like it's 5 years ago.
I know, doesn't it? And so she like full on. We cut out collage like magazine things like young girls used to do. And it was so fun. And we all talked them through because like we spoke it into the universe. Ha 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 ha. I gotta bet nothing happened on those vision boards. So, but it was cool. So I do things more like that. But I'm not like, I will lose weight. But I am like, yes, I will try and eat less sugar.
So I always try to have something like I want to get better at this year, and it's usually like a combination of personal and professional things.
Yeah.
Last year it was organization. That's not gone well for me.
Well, it did, and then it went out the window.
Because like we have the new house, and I was like, I'm going to have this tremendous opportunity to get rid of a bunch of crap, which we did. We threw out a whole dumpster worth of stuff when we moved. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I'm going to have this opportunity to really, because I do like being organized, and I do like having stuff in its place, but I generally. This sounds like an excuse, but honestly, I'm just so busy all the time that wherever, any port in a storm type of thing.
Yes.
Well, I'll just like, there's an open space here. I'm going to put it, and then when I need it again, I'll find it because I got to move on to the next thing. So that, But this year, I'm going to work on. I'm going to get to this later, but it's really easy to be the hero and just do what you need to do for that moment. It's not so easy to avoid that moment of crisis and put in place structures and processes and do the work ahead of time to avoid having things not go well. So my goal for 2021, this is a combination of like something that I feel I should do better as a person. I think getting better as a person is very important each year. I don't think anybody should ever coast. I don't think you should ever say, I'm great. I don't think you should ever be happy with yourself. I think you should always think you should find ways you can improve.
I'm good.
So, so my goal is really to just get better at having processes in place. And that might be something as silly as instead of leaving my clothes on the floor at the end of the night and then putting it in the hamster in the morning.
Hamster?
Stick
it in my hamster.
The hamper in the morning, doing it at night.
Okay, so this is professional and personal.
Yeah, just like work on ways of creating habits and being better at that, and then setting yourself up for success because, you did the ounce of prevention instead of the pound of cure.
Okay, I'm gonna also not call it resolutions, but like setting goals, doing the reflecting. I don't know at what age I started doing that. I remember again in New Year's that my brother-in-law and his wife, so my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, Travis and Carrie were up in Milwaukee. I was like probably 20, I don't know, in my young 20s. So, but I remember writing things on paper and putting it in a jar, but I don't remember what we wrote. And now this year I've been keeping a running list in my phone where I just keep running notes.
Apple Notes.
So many.
Is that your product recommendation?
Yeah, it should be because I have 500 notes. And it's just stuff I want to sit down and talk through with Tyler. Hey, let's tweak this thing in Elliot's bedtime routine. Things that you just do every day but we need to be better about brushing his teeth or whatever. So I have that. I have a work section and I have a personal one, and it's just kind of same thing. Let's just reset and get organized. So I do kind of try and set the vision for the year, but come on, it doesn't last.
I do love
I don't need to say that.
A lot of years, I do feel like I've gotten better.
I think we need a mid-year check-in.
Yeah, because I think a lot of years, this year it didn't work. The year before didn't work because of some stress stuff, and it's too ambitious a goal. But I've always picked personal things. I do think it has caused me, in conjunction with what I'm going to recommend for my product recommendation, it has caused me to become a better person. Humble brag. I do think I'm a better person at 33 than I was at 23. And I think a lot of that is because every year I've taken the time to self-reflect.
Okay.
At New Year's, everybody says it's for between Christmas and New Year's that you don't know what it is, but I love these times. People want to take down Christmas lights. This is the time where I eat the cheese and the sausage by the Christmas lights. We have a fireplace now. It's great. Sarah and I love to go.
We just want to sit by the fire.
Sarah and I like to go out to Grand Geneva and look at the lights out there and just enjoy the ambiance and the joy.
Christmas chaos is kind of over.
Yeah, so we just really Christmas. Liturgically speaking, if you're into the church stuff, is a season after Christmas.
Till January 6th.
Yep, and we really enjoy that whole thing. We do enjoy the let's sit and enjoy.
Yeah.
Christmas is here. A good spirit is here. So
I like that. That's a nice way to look at it.
I also really do try to take the time to be grateful in this time and send notes to people that maybe I haven't talked to or maybe I haven't been kind to or whatever, and just say, I really appreciate these things about you. I think you're a really great person, and I'm so proud of you for these reasons. And I really enjoy that too.
That's nice. I like, Shannon did New Year's cards last year instead of Christmas.
That's awesome.
I think it was last year. 2 years ago. Whatever. Maybe it was 2 years ago. And I was like...
3 years ago as you're listening.
I don't know! What day is it? What year is it? So, anyway, I love that. You're kind of okay. And not just the printed Christmas cards, which I love receiving so much, but the holiday newsletter, but do it in the new year. Anyway, we're going to be reflecting on all the things, including favorite New Year's pasts. I'm so excited to talk about this. Because as I was complaining to Nick about how I don't like New Year's, and he was like, what? I'm so surprised. I'm actually, that surprises me too. I should love New Year's. And then I was I do love New Year's. I just hate this year. And I was trying not to hate this year. It's just been kind of shitty in December specifically. So...
Kind of shitty?
December's been terrible. So that's maybe why I'm a grump about New Year's this year. I know I should be 2021 is great, reflecting new start, but
You're a mean one. Bridget Leach.
What I'm really trying not to do is be the person of 2021 is going to be so great. No, it just can't be worse, probably, hopefully.
I wouldn't say that.
I know, actually. Oh, God. Okay. So I thought it'd be fun to reflect on some of our favorite New Year's.
Oh, I love that.
I, of course, have a top 5.
Oh, Jesus.
But I limit it to 5, but all 5 are important for different reasons, because they're all very different. They're not all very different, but they're different in some ways. Do you have any? Do you want me to start?
Growing up, we always spent New Year's at my grandma's house. My cousins and I, and my sister, she was there too, obviously. I shouldn't say, and my grandma was very smart, and she set all of her clocks forward and definitely convinced us 11 o'clock was midnight.
Very smart.
But so we always did the disgusting cheese whiz on crackers with summer sausage and sparkling grape juice.
Yeah.
And she is a big Mogan David person, or was. She's dead. R.I.P. Rita. But she was a big Mogan David person, and she would let us have a little real wine because she was a good grandma, and
How old were you?
I don't know, like 7.
Cool.
And just a little thumble. And she explained it, when she was growing up in Boston, they gotta do that.
Boston.
We watched all these. She had all the crappy movies, on VHS, all of The Land Before Times. And,
is there a New Year's movie on
all of these things, and we'd watch them. And she had this huge old television, when 32 inches was oh my god.
Oh, this is big.
And it was in a wood cabinet.
I do remember this.
It was in a wood cabinet, so we'd watch it all on there, and then we watched, Dick Clark, and so just that really joyous time at my grandma's house with cousins and my sister and her dog, and that's just
Sister's dog, or your
grandma's dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Abby's younger than I am. She didn't have a dog right then.
Right. Oh yeah, okay.
So
Abby was 8.
It was just a good time, and I think the first time Sarah and I had New Year's Eve, we kind of have a tradition. Her and I disagree on how done steak should be. And
with you, Sarah. With you.
So there's a part of a tenderloin, a whole tenderloin's called the head, that's a less desirable part because it's shaped a little weird, it cooks a little bit faster than other parts.
But Sarah and I like it.
So I'll just take a head, I'll let somebody else take the barrel cut. It saves us a little bit of, at work, a little bit of having to give someone something they're it's fine. Because it's honestly a good quality, it's a little different texture that a lot of people actually do like. But it looks weird, and it gets a little more cooked. So I can get this very specific part out of it. It's medium rare and delicious, and she can get this very specific part out of it. And we open a specific bottle of wine that is important to us. And
same bottle every year.
Same bottle every year. And
that's nice.
First time we did that, just really kind of sat at our condo. It was my condo at the time.
Heard that, Sarah.
And sat by the Christmas lights and just really enjoyed each other and enjoyed watching Seacrest. And
Seacrest. Who enjoys watching Seacrest?
Did you? Okay.
He's not Dick Clark.
Sidetrack. You have the Disney Plus.
Yes, of course.
Did you see
Frozen 10 times a day?
Disney had their holiday sing-along thing.
Yes, but
it was pretty good. So Seacrest hosted, and it was in Seacrest that was so great. All of the Seacrest glory, where he started doing he started doing the Botox and all of the things. I'm Ryan, you now are being Ryan Seacrest automaton instead of the guy that people liked.
He's the robot Santa in Santa Claus 2.
Yes, that's exactly what he is.
I know, I did like him, but I always loved Carson Daly.
Oh, Carson Daly.
He was always not Carson Daly.
Yep.
So, but that's showing my age. Okay.
Okay, so you give us the top 5 countdown.
Do you want me to run through the top 5?
Run, oh my god, you have a note.
Oh, dude, I have all kinds of notes that I kept secret from Nick. They're not on the outline.
Oh, I have a secret note too.
They're on a separate Apple note. Okay, I think these are in order of time. Yes, I think. Yeah, they definitely are. Okay.
Maybe you should have taken a note about how you're taking notes.
I'm very bad. Brittany can remember the day, the year, I'm
that's insane.
It was around this time that we did this. I was approximately either 10 or 15, and she's it was December 23rd, 1997. So anyway, I don't know that. This one specifically was a late ad, but I keep this year, as we were discussing what we're going to do for New Year's Eve, I have these fond memories of doing board games at my parents'. So I think probably a similar thing
that's
to
your
grandma's.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we stayed up till midnight. I don't remember any of those things. I just specifically...
I guarantee your parents tricked you.
Right, I hope not. I don't know. But I distinctly remember, sitting in a certain spot playing games, and I'm with my siblings and my parents, and I think we have these family friends that would always come around at Christmas, Matt and Monica, and they would usually, they live in Ohio, and I don't know where they lived at the time, but they would always be in at Christmas and celebrate my dad's birthday, and they would usually celebrate New Year's with us.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Play games with us. So anyway, that was one. Board
Sean
games.
listen?
No, I'm gonna get him to. Sean's my dad, everybody.
Sean Gallagher.
I'm not
He
sure
spells
he's
it
like-
S-I-A-N too.
That is wrong.
Sure.
I'm not sure he's up on podcasts, but maybe this will be his first one. Maybe. Okay, board games with parents. Great, fun, lovely memory. They just go downhill from here, and they're not as heartfelt and wonderful as
The
Nick's.
time I puked all over myself and Tyler saved me.
None of these involve puking because I'm a champion. Number 2. I liked to plan parties and events always. So one year I pissed all my friends off, I'm sure, and was like, we're getting dressed up. And for anyone in law enforcement listening, we were all 21. But maybe couldn't go to the bars because we weren't all 21. Okay, so we were like, me specifically, my sister and I are very young for our class. So like we are, all of our friends were 21, and I'm like, screw you, like you can't go to the bar, or I can't go to the bars, you can't go to the bars. We're having a party. So we have a friend that shall remain nameless that let us use his house up here, and I was like, we are having a black and white New Year's party, and we are all dressing up. And props to my friends, man. Everyone dressed up, and when I'm saying dressed up, like we're wearing sequins, we're wearing heels, we're wearing suits and ties, or shirt and ties at least, like above polo shirt grade dress up. Okay.
Can I just say, I love homecoming where every idiot high schooler boy in the world thinks a short sleeve dress shirt,
Is dressed
not even a dress shirt, a button up shirt,
Dude.
and a tie is like, I'm fancy. I'm like, dude,
No.
you're better off wearing a blazer and no tie.
Tyler and I talk about short sleeve dress up shirts. Oh
my God.
Because this is a different story. We'll get off track. Okay, so that one was super, super awesome because it was one of my, I wouldn't say first party planning adventures, but it was a big one. And we went all out. We had all the things, big party. And then like we all spent the night and we woke up the next morning to just like a shit storm of the house. And we're like, so anyway, that was awesome. Black and white party, number 2. Number 3. We went to a cabin up north. It was like 10 or 11, I don't know, somewhere around 10 of us. And actually, I was just looking at some
Did
cabin.
you break COVID quarantine?
This was like 1,000 years ago. But
Isn't that so weird? Where you're like, oh my God, 10 people in a cabin.
Oh my God, 10 people all traveled
that
together
safe?
in a small enclosed cabin. So, okay, this one, I actually just reached out to this same cabin like a week ago because I want to go with my family of 4 to a cabin up north and just like get away. So I reached out to these people because we had such an awesome experience. Granted, with these 10 people, we were like playing beer pong inside and doing all those, but it was super fun. Like, we went snowmobiling, we did, oh my God, polar plunge. Sorry, we're giggling about a work text message. We did a polar plunge, which was, I think, my first polar plunge. So that one was super great. Number 4, this one might be the top of the list. I was really involved with a young professionals group when I lived in Milwaukee. And again, love to get dressed up for New Year's. I like getting dressed up. So like this year has been hard for me. Like wearing leggings and a sweatshirt every day is not my jam. So this one, we had the full-on party at the Milwaukee Art Museum. So this was like...
Oh, that's cool.
You buy the
like in the College Travel Wing?
Yes, in the College
Travel. Oh, that's
Travel.
awesome.
So, and I was part of the organization that put it on. Like I had volunteered a whole ton with them, all my friends. This was like, honestly, probably the prime of my life. It was the year I got engaged. It was just like, I was super happy. It was super, super fun. Yeah, I know he's laughing because I should say the prime of my life is now, but
I agree with you on this. The prime of my life was when I was 16 and paging DC.
Oh yeah, no, mine was at the New Year's Eve party at the Art Museum, and we did it 2 years in a row. And like the second year, we're like, this is it. We shouldn't do this anymore. Like we were too, and it was still very fun, but it was like not as good as the year before. So I had a dress on that was black and white sequins, and like honestly, I can't imagine would anywhere near cover my butt right now. I just gave it away. I wore it with hot pink shoes. Anyway, the best time. Okay, and then the most recent time. So guys, the juxtaposition here. art museum party, downtown Milwaukee, on the lake, unlimited, like, Grey Goose level bar. Not that that's, like, the fanciest thing in the world, but, like, at the time, it was pretty fancy.
Grey Goose is good.
And then my most recent, happiest New Year's was last year, and we all have kids.
Oh, that was great.
I live in Lake Geneva now, and we went to our friends, the Henningfelds. So, our friends that own Hill Valley Dairy. We just, like, had a night in there, and it was so fun. So Nick and Sarah and Simona came. My sister, her husband, and kids came. Well, one kid at the time, and then my Lucy was just.
No, they both came.
Was she? No, she wasn't pregnant. Was she? No, she wasn't pregnant yet.
When was he born?
Oh yeah, I guess she was. She had to be pregnant. Okay, everybody. Time. What is time? Anyway, it was super fun. Josie and Ron have, I think it was a cousin maybe that came and like helped watch the kids. So like we were all in the same house, but the kids were up in the playroom and they stayed up till midnight and they were so well behaved. Like yes, we let them stay up, and it was super fun. We had like a dance party. My phone today reminded me of that year.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my super favorite. Like this is my life now. I'm wearing
fun.
Sparkly shirts, but not sequins and hot pink heels. So those are the trip down memory lane of my favorite New Year's, everybody.
All right, so that's great.
It was so fun.
Let's get into food. Let's get into food a little bit.
Yeah,
What was
food.
What was the best? So you had quite the Christmas. I had quite the Christmas.
Yeah.
What was the best thing you had over the Christmas period?
I don't know. I'm gonna go.
No, I do know because you wrote like in some like very.
Yes, well, I don't know for a different reason. Here's what my notes say, and what I will tell you: desserts, of course. So that's exactly what my notes say.
Peppermint ice cream.
So again, we talk a lot on here about how food is connected.
Eclairs, cinnamon rolls,
ooh, cinnamon
more
rolls.
cookies,
all the cookies, still more cookies,
brownies.
We've talked about my grandma's sugar cookies on here, I think. How I don't make them, but they are my favorite thing once a year. And so I didn't make any, but I did get a tub of them from my mom who made them. And my sister from Washington mailed us some. And I think Shannon still has some. So I did finally enjoy those. And by finally, I mean like, I eat a couple a day probably. At this point, I just want them out of my house. Instead of throwing them away, I just like eat them now. So that was great. But I did recently, and this was like after Christmas, before we're recording, went to the store with the purpose of buying, the peppermint ice cream with like the gooey candy cane chunks in it?
Yes.
I bought that. I buy it every year.
Yum.
And it's like good, but I buy it because my grandma always had it in her freezer and it always reminds me of her. And literally I will sit down and I will think of her and it's lovely. Like every year I do it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's what I loved.
Guys.
What'd you eat, Nick?
I made this segment beyond this episode just because I want to humble brag a little bit.
I know what you're going to say.
Legitimately the best piece of meat I have cooked in my life. I know Brittany can remember the exact date of, this is December 20, whatever. I can remember exact dishes I cooked. I can't remember like the days or anything, but I can like remember all of the positives and negatives of dishes I've cooked.
You guys are crazy.
There is a rack of ribs that stood up to this Christmas dish, but wasn't as good. There was a brisket, the Labor Day brisket.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was good.
That was very good.
Oh, Labor Day.
And there were 2 ribeyes that I cooked. And 4 pork chops that have stood up to the level of this, but were not as good.
It's really weird.
I did a whole beef tenderloin for Christmas, and it was easily the best piece of meat I have ever cooked.
Why? Why was it so much better?
Okay, so my mom...
Tell us.
My mom pulled what was a prime tenderloin, and she was going to cook it. And no offense, Mom, you hammer meat often. And you're aware of it.
I love it. That's how I like my meat.
Her idea of how she was going to cook this thing was not as cool as what I had in mind, so I took it and I cooked it. I sous vide'd it at 115 degrees for an hour and a half. Now, the problem a lot of people have when they sous vide cook stuff is they think you can just stay at the temperature forever. That's wrong. It starts messing with the texture. So as soon as it hits temp, you have to pull it. We like to tell people, oh, no, it's great, just stay and hold that temperature. But it starts screwing with the texture. Especially with something like tenderloin that's just a textural treat. Pull it at 115.
Did you just say textural treat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great description. Okay.
Tenderloin doesn't have a lot of flavor. It's more the texture and like the overall ambiance that's delicious.
Meat texture.
And then I took 150 degree, rubbed it with butter. I made a spice rub that is the culmination of a lot of things I've learned this year. I worked really hard on my seasoning game, and not just relying on salt like a white dude to flavor my food. But like, how can we build flavor? How can we bring in, every element of flavor to each dish we do? Making sure there's always a little sweetness, always a little bit of spice, and then bouncing off with savoriness, salt, just really making sure I build balanced things, and bringing in some ingredients like Syrian 7 spice that are not necessarily things you think of, but are this wonderful combination of things that bring an earthiness and a savoriness without having to use MSG. Or soy sauce, or Worcestershire.
Lost in the spice mix game.
So, I season it like beautifully with this. My oven air fries. It's a huge air fryer. I air fried it at 500 degrees, still all whole, still all intact, for 8 minutes until the butter started burning a little bit. The spices got toasted because there were some aromatic spices in there.
Wow.
And then pulled it out, let it sit, sliced it up, sandwich slices. And my God, if it wasn't the best thing I've had.
Wait, did Sarah like it?
Oh, Sarah loved it. And I did, so we did sandwiches on rolls. I made a mustard cream sauce.
Mustard.
Dijon sour cream, chives, brandy, deglazed brandy, a few other little things, salt, pepper, garlic, onion, and
You're losing me.
And then caramelized onions.
Oh God!
And it was the best.
Oh. Did you say you're making a tenderloin tonight?
Yeah.
Is this the same thing you're making?
I'm not going to make the cream
Can't
sauce.
Can't replicate it.
But like I'll probably I might smoke it. I don't know, because like I have this weird tick about me where like if I drive to daycare, there's 2 ways you can get there. You can go down the back roads or you can go to the highway.
Yes.
I will drive down the back roads the way there and the highway the way back. I just have this weird thing about I don't like doing the same thing twice in a row.
That's fair. So you're not going to cook. Okay, fair.
So, but oh my God, people! I almost posted this on my What Nick Cooked account, but it's like this is so douchey.
I mean. So?
Like, hey, because it's like my way of like telling people like, hey, if you like what I cook, here's how you can do it at home. There's no fucking way you're doing this at home.
Why? Because you don't have an air fryer.
Most people don't have
degrees.
bags this big that they can sous vide stuff in. Most people don't have an air fryer that can hit 500 degrees. Most people don't have Syrian 7. Yeah, like.
Okay, yeah, you're a jerk.
Yes.
Don't post it. Well, that's almost as cool as my peppermint ice cream, but
like Bridget. Oh, and then I served it on my grandma's little serving plate.
Yeah, that's the best part, you guys. This is like a pewter.
Yeah.
Is it pewter? Like a pewter cow. Okay, so that's obviously the best part.
It's hilarious.
Serving dishes. My sister has a potato dish.
You laughed at me the first time, and now you love it too.
I mean, it's still funny.
But you love all the kitsch.
I do, yeah. I want a cow to serve my beef on as well. I don't. Okay, guys, so...
Christmas 2021 ideas. I have a note about stuff I should get people for Christmas.
Pewter cow. So what?
For Bridget.
I'm off track here. Normally we share a news story. We're going to do that. But what we're going to do, we're going to talk to you about some of the happiest news stories from 2020.
Happy.
Because we all can reflect on how crappy it was. But instead, we're not going to. And I think that we both probably put a list story here. Is yours a list?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a list too. But I will post the link to my list.
Me too.
But I'm going to highlight my favorite thing from the list. When I was kind of looking back on the year and like, what are some of my favorite things? The SpaceX launch was one of my favorite things.
You were all over that.
Yeah.
You didn't get anything done for like 2 days.
I know, because they kept getting delayed. Okay, it's their fault. It's their fault, the weather. But
I've never seen you so... You're actually really good about not being on your phone, and being present.
Yeah.
But those 2 days, you're like,
I know.
Go away!
Leave me alone. They're about to make history. And I do. Once I get into it, I'm like, get away from me. I will get my work done, but not right now.
It was very funny. I was like, I've never seen you like this.
There are a few other times it's happened. I can't pinpoint them, but
I think I was like, shit. Is she okay?
Does she love outer space? And I don't know what it was, but once I got invested in the story, there was no leaving it behind. No. And then Elliot. So because the launch ended up happening on a weekend, Elliot ended up getting really excited.
Elliot was super into it.
Which obviously made it really cool for me. So then if he's interested in something different than the normal 3 things he's interested in, I'm all over it. So I'm like, yes, we're talking about astronauts. You can be an astronaut. So anyway, that was one of my favorite things.
You get a little bit better at math.
Yeah, well, we've got some room to go, okay? But so the article I have is from Cheddar. cheddar.com. And
Cheddar.
it walks through each month of exciting fun things that happen. So there's a great LGBTQ wedding that happened in Ireland in February.
That was a huge deal, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, these things that you're like, oh, what? I forgot about that. Like this historic space launch happened in May. Do we remember that? So anyway, the article is really lovely. I don't want to take away all of Nick's things because there might still be some similar things in here. But these ones are the article I chose has some kind of obscure things. Like obviously we're not gonna not talk about the space launch, but we are also going to talk about the giant tortoise. Do you guys remember the giant tortoise?
I don't remember the giant tortoise.
I think you talked about an article.
Oh,
about
I did. You're right.
Yep, Diego.
Oh yeah, that saved the. Yeah, he got retired. Yeah.
So things like that are kind of fun, happy points that we would otherwise forget about. We'll post the link to my article of my year-end highlights.
Mine is from Yahoo. It's 7 heartwarming things that happened. There's, things you might expect from this year. But the 2 things I want to highlight from this are a record number of people voting.
Yeah.
158 million.
The election, which feels like 8 years ago somehow.
Well, it's still happening.
Right.
It's still happening.
Still not official.
But I think, we talked a lot about the importance of voting. I think we're both happy with the outcome. But it's really cool. And hopefully, I think the election went a bad way because people viewed it as me versus you, you're with us or against us. But hopefully all these people voting eventually does become the most important elections you can vote in are your local ones. What the federal government does has a very small effect on you overall. It's the biggest dollars, but it has the least effect on what you do every day. What happens in your local governments is what affects you the most. And it's also where you can be the kindest to your neighbors or the crappiest to your neighbors. You can go protest against their variance to put their porch 2 feet closer to your lot line even though it's 100 feet away. Or you can say, hey, I totally support, this is nice that they can have this. So hopefully I'm hoping these record number of people voting leads to people being like, you know what, let's up the quality of our local government. Let's up the quality of engagement. Let's make sure we're all engaged with this. And then the other story was how many, when we do charity things, a lot of people want us to donate to pet shelters, and we don't do that as a business. We think ultimately humans are more important than pets, and we want our dollars to go to feeding humans rather than pets. Not that pets aren't important, but we do have a limited charity budget, and we'd rather do that. So some people accuse me of hating animals, which is not true. Not true. But I think it was really cool that a lot of these animal shelters ran out of pets to adopt.
Yeah, that is cool. Elliot keeps asking when he can go to the animal shelter to volunteer.
To get a St. Bernard?
No, he wants a Doberman Pinscher now?
Oh, no.
No, okay, seriously. I do, since we're on our news articles, want to mention, we've talked about them before because we've shared articles from them, but the Happy newspaper.
Yeah.
So we are so inundated with getting all the crap thrown at us in the media. There's a thing called the Happy newspaper, and actually, it was on my list to buy as a gift for my family. Like, you can send the Happy newspaper as a subscription, and I just, forgot or didn't get around to it. Shannon got it for all of us as a gift. So quarterly we get a Happy newspaper, and it is only happy articles. So check them out if you don't want to read the normal.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories in mine about Americans donating, showing care, and I saw a friend of mine on Facebook, actually an ex-principal of mine, shared a thing about how Americans really are amazing in the face of adversity, natural disasters. We open up our homes to strangers. We donate food. We go and donate blood. We really are people that, if you ask us, we will give you the shirt off our back as a society. But what we won't do is figure out structures to make sure that people don't need to ask for houses. We won't work on climate change to make sure that these floods don't happen. We won't do the things ahead of time to prevent the disaster. Maybe it's because we have a hero complex and want to be heroes. Maybe it's because we don't realize this. But it kind of goes, it kind of goes in conjunction with my thing that I want to work on in 2021, which is put in place these systems, work on being better every day, 10% better every day, so that once to avoid these situations, so you don't have to be 100% better. So I just wanted to say that. Put that out into the universe.
Are you leading into a dad joke? Because
no,
this is awkward.
I just wanted to put that into the universe of let's all think about that. What are things we can do every day? What is the long work we can do to save ourselves?
Yeah, we've seen a year of unprecedented shittiness, and so instead of that, we keep trying, and obviously we fall in the rut of talking about how bad things have been. So it sounds like maybe we as a podcast should make a not resolution,
Ooh.
goal. A goal?
A goal?
To be more positive.
So
I think we go up and down quite a bit.
I love how a lot of the times you'll stand on one foot or the other foot.
I know, I do. I just like do the tree yoga pose or whatever.
What foot am I standing on?
Your right foot?
It's because I want to start 2021 on the right foot.
Oh, Jesus, okay. And with that, we're taking a break.
Last day job of 2020!
Okay, we're back. I love singing it. Okay, we're here with our product recommendations, and it might be no surprise to you that Nick and I love to plan, as we've previously mentioned. So we're both talking about journals / planners / things of that nature. I have to give my product recommendation shout out to Ruth, who is married to my cousin Danny. Hi, Ruth.
Hi,
she
Ruth.
has an awesome account called the Spethman House, Haus. And they bought their first house, and they're doing all kinds of projects with it. They have like the most beautiful, perfectly put together house.
Oh, is this the ridiculous house that you showed me?
No, this is not. This is a relatively new account for her,
Okay.
and it's beautifully curated. Like, it's nice and neat and clean. They have a little fluffy puppy and no kids yet to make it messy. So, but
Every kid needs a fluffy puppy.
fluffy puppy. But I have to say, Ruth, so we've talked about planners probably 10 million times before, and I'm always looking for like the perfect one, and I'm not married to one. I thought I was, and then like 2020 happened. So Ruth actually just showed one on her stories. I don't know if I'm saying this right, the Lavendaire shop, and it's a daily planner, and it just looks so lovely and looks like it would fit all of my needs. And this is what Ruth was saying about it as well. Like, you can fill in the date, so it's not pre-dated. So like, if you miss a day of filling in your planner, you feel terrible and that you've lost all control. But it's got like, today I want to feel relaxed, or today's focus is this, and then it has like a spot for a to-do list.
Ooh,
It
great
has
today.
a
I'm
spot.
watching this.
Oh yeah. So it has your to-do list, it has what you're grateful for, good things from the day, and then like different notes. So it's just a little bit different
This is a
way.
good planner.
Yeah, like I went on and bought one for myself,
How
so
old
thank
is
you,
Ruth?
Ruth. I don't know, younger than me?
Yeah.
20, 30,
She has some like
20?
very
I have no idea.
like 26-year-old
Ruth, I should know how old you are, I'm sorry.
ease with doing this like Instagram story where she's like talking about all these things and pointing them out. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
All of my
this
cousins
is
are
indulgent.
young. Yes, all of my cousins are younger than me. We're the old cousins.
People think us millennials are indulgent. Like, watch a Gen Zer on
I
TikTok.
want to say she might turn 30 this year. Is that right, Ruth? Okay.
Like, my little brother-in-law is on the Twitch, and he talks about how he's
Twitch?
playing. It's a video game streaming thing.
What was that?
And so he's like, yeah, I'm just playing this video. I'm like, my God. And like, people watch it, and like, I watch it because it's like, I don't know, hanging out. But it's like, my God, you feel very comfortable talking about yourself.
Well, I mean, I like talking about myself too. So we will link out to the Spethman House so you can check out Ruth's awesome home decor. And then you also will link out to the Lavendaire shop, which has this daily planner that I have ordered, and we'll see how it works in 2021. And there you go. That's my planner.
We've talked about it before. This
Yeah.
is the Spark Daily Planner. 2021 screwed with my planning a little bit,
Yeah, man.
but
I just like threw mine out the window.
when I can plan, like here's a full week's worth of accomplished tasks.
Yay! 1 week.
It does really good for me. It really helps I've been very good the last 2 weeks. Like Friday doesn't always get planned out. But like it really helps with mental sanity. The lady that runs this is super awesome. These are great quality. I spilled a bunch of crap on it. It's only slightly, I have it in my bag all the time. Beautiful colors. She's sent out a lot of really great 2021 planning resources. You can get them in convolt.com. I haven't started filling out my 2021 yet.
Ooh, but it's here. Ooh, look at the color of that one.
I have each of my last 5 years of planners. I keep them as kind of like a journal.
Mm-hmm.
I do like journaling, but I just never quite get it done. So I have like this beautiful color. They're always a blue or a purple. And I'm going to link to it. It works really great for me. It has some flexibility. It lets you freeform a little bit, but also structure, which I like.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I will throw in an overarching one more general product rec is get yourself a gratitude journal every year. I get one from my sister typically, and I used to go into it really overwhelmed. Like, okay, well, when should I write these down? How many things should I write that I'm grateful for? What? And she's like, stop. And she's made them for me instead of purchasing them. Like, she has made them and written quotes in them. And
that's awesome.
I just made a rule for myself because I need a little structure. Every single day before I go to bed, I write 2 things I'm grateful for, and they can be stupid. Like, they can literally be, I'm grateful that this champagne was so delicious.
I'm grateful that magically over the break it refilled itself.
Oh, it did magically do that. Magic. So anyway, start doing a little gratitude thing. Like, whatever, it's easy. I used to do it. I look back at mine, of course, and like, I can tell there are nights that I was out at the bars and I came back and I still did it because it's like for my friends. So anyway, very funny. Get yourself a gratitude journal as well. That means we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back.
We're back.
And guess what? More products for you. But these are real life products. Since you weren't with us at Christmas, I brought a bag of things for Nick. There are 2 things in here, and they're fun little things. I don't want to say anything until he opens it. So we weren't together on Christmas, so I brought this like little Christmas gift for Nick. So this hat has a funny story, and I don't know if Nick remembers it. But early on in our friendship, we went to a Badgers game together. I actually ordered this hat for your birthday, and it showed up the day after your birthday. So Nick saw this hat at a Badgers game, and he said, Sarah would never let me have this hat. Okay, do you have this? You can tell me if you have it. Okay, so first the hat. So he said, Sarah will never let me have it. It's so ridiculous. So I've had it on my gift list for Nick forever. So the hat. Then what Nick is looking at right now is a cookbook called I don't know if it's a cookbook, is that a real life? It says Big Macs and Burgundy, and it's wine pairings for real food. So I should have given this to him in our Pinkies Up episode where we talk about like what real people say about wine. So like, it's easy to say like beef tenderloin tastes delicious with this fancy wine, but this is like, hey dude, I'm eating ramen for dinner, what wine should I have with it? And it is so interesting to me. So like I kept paging through it. It's like, I'm going to keep this book. I'm not going to give it to Nick. But I thought it was so funny and so interesting.
This is still douchey. This is awesome. So it's Lucky Charms and Washout Riesling Schmargard, which is like
what?
A super douchey, hard to find.
Is it really?
Oh, this is like an incredible pairing, but it's also like super douchey.
Well,
there's one in here. Oh God, what is
this? I don't know how hard these wines are.
This is great.
Isn't it funny?
This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, get some French which is a really inexpensive, really hard to find Italian sparkling wine.
But eat it with your Lucky Charms.
This is what I love. So my all-time favorite. So Bridget, thank you.
Yeah, man, I love that book. I think we can have some fun with it.
We're gonna have some fun with this. So I have a friend. He's very aged and very experienced. And he does wine auctions as part of the many things he does. And he sold some people's really expensive wine, and this person had one of the greatest private collections of champagne, and her husband died and she was selling it all. She did a series of 3 or 4 auctions, and each one the actual auction, they always do a meal with it, and usually there's some wine pairings and you have to pay for it and whatever. But it's well worth it. I gotta go a couple of them. It's amazing. And pre-COVID, of course. And
2019.
as she was offloading the champagne thing, it was with buttered truffle popcorn.
Oh.
And I'm telling you right now,
can we just have that?
The best wine pairing combination in the world is buttered truffle popcorn with like $700 bottles of champagne.
Yeah, so just go get yourself a $700 bottle for tonight.
And that's not like super douchey to say.
Okay, well, luckily there's a cheap wine cheat sheet in here. So it says, if you like this, then try this.
Okay, no, this is funny. All right, let's go into this. Chablis. Chablis, you can get $20 for a decent bottle. Alsatian Pinot Blanc is what you should try instead. No, that's $25.
Okay, everybody, Nick is going to have a heart attack.
Margarita, this is harder. These are hilarious. Oh, you should try Navarra. You know, good luck. Good luck. Free Rocks and Monstant. That's a good one.
I think we'll have a whole...
Red Burgundy, Central Otago. Central Otago costs as much now.
Put the book away, Nick.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to have a whole episode
on
this
this book.
I like
this picture, though.
Yeah, and I love the pictures, actually, in the book.
Where is this picture? Let me find it again.
Honestly, I just want to get it for everybody. So anyone listening that knows
Sarah.
What is it? Oh, Jesus Christ. It's a person in a bathtub with wine, everybody.
It's a lady with her legs.
Well, who knows? How do you know that's a lady?
Look at the legs.
Get out of here. Boring, but beautiful. Okay,
thank you, Bridget.
Yeah, man, I love the book.
That's so wonderful of you.
Anytime. I like your hat.
I do too. All right, You know what it's time for now.
Do you? Because we're off track.
It's time for Fantasy Update with Bridget.
I deleted that, actually.
Ooh,
we're going into the new year without that.
Oh.
I didn't do well. Pretty much I stopped winning halfway through the season. I was doing great on top of my game and then went downhill.
2021 resolution. Don't lose all of your players in fantasy to COVID.
Stop. Don't do COVID. Don't do fantasy while COVID is happening. It's too hard to keep track of. We joke a lot about it in my brother's league about, like, it's just a game of who's paying attention like that at every minute. Because every minute some other game's getting canceled. So, bye-bye, fantasy.
Alright, but really what it's time for...
Really?
I know that was an anticlimactic finish to what was really an interesting segment throughout the year. Sorry, listeners. But it's really time for... Interesting Questions with Bridget and Nick.
Nick Week.
Alright. So we're doing a little New Year's Eve theme because we are on New Year's Eve.
Alright,
You really need to be looking on YouTube because I look great right now.
Same?
Alright, so this one, I did find this one on the internet. I personalized it a little bit to add a degree of difficulty
Okay.
and interest because it adds some parameters. Would you rather clean up confetti in Times Square after New Year's Eve with Lucy?
Oh, Jesus.
Or have to do a complete scrub down of the Milwaukee Zoo's elephant cage with Elliot?
Oh. Okay, so first of all,
Elliot's going to pick up the poop.
I actually think Lucy would pick up the confetti.
She would
more
pick up the confetti.
and
She would
eat
be
it.
so helpful.
No. She would eat it.
She would eat it?
She would lay down on the ground and lick it. So I do think I'm going to go with elephant poop, except it smells so bad.
And, like, you have to scrub it down.
I know, but I used
and
to...
Elliot's going to pick it up.
I have friends that grew up on farms, and I used to love scraping the stalls with them, okay? I know. It was a weird thing, but it was weirdly satisfying. I'm going with elephant poop. Although, side note, the logistics of New York... Times Square New Year's Eve has always been so interesting to me. I love the logistics of large-scale events. It's a weird thing.
I'm going to go with clean up the confetti with Lou because
Why?
I think she would actually be helpful. I don't think she would.
No, she wouldn't!
I think if I said, no.
Whose kid are you looking at, man?
I don't know. I think she would do it. I think she'd be helpful. I think Elliot would start picking up the poop and throwing it and chasing Elliot, the elephants.
No, Elliot has aged since you've seen him 2 weeks ago or whatever. Elliot's a better listener. Lucy's too young to listen. Okay, whatever, man.
I think we could harness hermetic energy for this task.
Nick's getting on a plane right now, and he's going to go help clean up Times Square at 3 a.m.
Would you rather be the featured singer of Old Lang Syne at midnight on Seacrest's Countdown, or be the backup singer? Oh, also you've had 2 drinks.
Okay.
Or be... So, like, a little more confident, but also a little less quality.
Wait, am I a good singer or not?
No, you're.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or be the backup dancer to Beyonce's New Year's Eve performance with no rehearsal, and you don't know what she's singing. But you just gotta get up there and dance behind Beyonce.
Well, I'm a terrible dancer and singer, so these are great. Singer. Because
Beyonce's not ending well.
I can plan at least the lyrics, and then we can just blame it on all the viewers were drunk, so they thought I was a bad singer. I was great.
I would do the singing too. I would, like the people that do Take Me Out to the Ball Game and Cubs games that just are like, I suck. I don't care.
Yeah, that'd be
I'm here having fun.
I would use a microphone in one hand, champagne in the other to really hammer home the fact that I can't
thought
sing.
you might choose the dancing because
I thought about it. But you told me I didn't know what she was like.
Yeah, so
that's very unprepared.
Oh yes, and like they would go along with Beyonce.
Yeah, it would mostly just be like a whole bunch of.
Ooh, my head! Oh, my head's still on.
It would be nice. We'd look good, but I'm gonna go with singing.
All right, and then the last one. Would you rather have a party blowout thing for a nose, so every time you sneeze it goes?
Every time it what?
Every time you sneeze.
Oh boy. Okay.
Or would you rather have confetti in your throat, so every time you cough it goes?
That's awful. So awful.
But you have a mask on right now, so.
So I just choke on the confetti. But I want a party blower as a nose, obviously. You sneeze less than you do cough, I think. Right?
Not in 2020.
I don't know. I feel like people in 2020, if you just go, they're like, oh my God, get away from me. You have COVID. I want a party blower. Come on.
I think I'd go that way too.
Also, I'm going to suffocate on my own confetti. I'd rather just make it awkward and make people laugh when I sneeze. Those are good New Year's questions,
Thanks, Bridget.
man.
Thanks.
Yes. I think we're really upping our interesting questions.
I think we are too.
I hope you're enjoying them. Should we do a quick trip down memory lane here.
Let's do
in
it.
review.
Let's do it.
So, 2020, whatever. I pulled out just like I'm sure there's a million and I'm gonna feel guilty that I forgot so many of them, but I pulled out just like a handful of things that stuck out to me about this year that were not like, oh yeah, coronavirus happened. So I'm gonna run through them. I'll go quick, right? Okay. Year in reflection. I shouldn't say that this goes in order because I'm bad at that. But we had what I would call an at-home daycare in our basement. And
that was cool.
Not legally, everybody. Like, we didn't start a daycare. We're not in trouble. We just, like, shit shut down quickly. And, like, we were all very much in panic mode with our jobs, still, like, trying to flip the whole store to curbside. And we needed to work, but our kids had nowhere to go. So we have the luxury of knowing many childcare professionals through Tyler's job. So we were able to kind of, like, in our basement, like, set up a little thing, and Simona was able to come over, and then our two kids, and we paid the teachers like we would if daycare was open. So we were able to do that at home daycare, kind of.
That was
which
cool.
was awesome. Which is something all of our friends say that Tyler should do forever. Like, I mean, literally for years, our friends have been like, Tyler, open a daycare, and I'm like, no, I don't want a daycare in my house, but thank you. So at home daycare, yay, check. Easter really stuck out in my mind. My phone crashed and I lost a whole bunch of pictures, which was like devastating to me.
It was.
Devastating. I got all except 1 month back, and the month was April, like the beginning of COVID and Easter. So, but on that note, I did put together a photo book for my parents of, so on Easter, like, we are very big family holiday people, and we did not see my parents on Easter. We drove to the driveway and we put together an Easter basket, and in it was a photo book of like, here's what you've missed while we've been in quarantine. So the photos I lost.
I remember that was cool.
Yeah, I had already put into a photo book for my parents, like, so I didn't have all of them, but I had a photo book of like thinking we'll be back to normal in like a month, so here's the photo book. So that Easter was weird and sad, and but also kind of cool. So we literally like set up stadium chairs in their driveway and said hi, so from 10 feet away. So whatever, that was fun. Full credit to my sister Shannon. She started a thing called Advent Calendar of Misery. And this was just like, every time something shitty happened, obviously I'm going out of order. Every time something shitty happened, she was like, text me. Advent Calendar of Misery, my car broke down. Advent Calendar of Misery.
Yeah, she had a rough December.
Yeah, so whatever. Advent Calendar of Misery, hilarious and awesome. We're continuing it into January because she's still having some car trouble. So Advent Calendar of Misery, hilarious. We should maybe develop one for next year. Lucy turned 1. That was awesome. Like, she turned 1 back in June. But like, if you do look back at which I'm sure everyone has done now, at pictures from like early quarantine until now, it's insane. Like, your kids have grown almost a full year, and if you have kids, or your dog or whatever has grown a whole year, and you kind of like have not seen a lot of people, whatever. That's very weird. So Lucy turned 1, which was really awesome. Elliot started school, like official school. So that's a huge deal for us. Like, he's only half day, but that's a big adjustment for I don't know, anyone that has kids knows that that's a big adjustment. So we are grateful he got to go to school, got to start school. We had COVID hit pretty close to home. My dad had it early on. I actually had the experience of having COVID, and my mom. So I'm super, super grateful we all are on the other side of it. We all made it, but that happened in 2020, and everything is fine with us, which I'm grateful for. And then ending the year with, we are doing a renovation on our house. We're doing an addition and a renovation, which is obviously a huge thing, and it's given us something to really look forward to. So we are in the throes of, we're supposed to break ground actually, like in a week or so. So we'll see if that stays on time, but we're doing a renovation. So that's a very, very broad view of our year in reflection.
We built a house.
That was this year. That feels like so long ago.
We've been in here since May, and Sarah and I worked really hard for this. This is really important to both of us. We did the whole process of finding land. It happened to be land that was in our family in a weird way and is very important to us for a number of reasons. And then we built the house, and we did it our way, and we did it through our hard work and our professional accomplishments, and we're really proud of it. And it's something we did together, and I could have done it without Sarah, Sarah could have done it without me, and we're just very proud of it. So This is a huge thing that we've been together 10 years now, and it's 7 years worth of work. And wow. We're really proud of it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Simona turned 1. We had
also that
Simtoberfest. which was a little muted because of COVID, but it was still fun. Bridget designed a banner.
And the wind was muted because of the wind.
Stupid wind. Stupid wind ruining all of the things. But that was really fun, and I hope it's a thing we can keep going. Her birthday's October 15th.
Thought I just been swallowing there, Nick.
No, the problem is her mom and grandma have birthdays in October too, and they're all like the same. So,
in the teens.
Yeah, like God. So her birthday's October 15th, and it's also my parents' anniversary, which is like, I'm like, wait.
Yeah, that's.
And I always think my parents' anniversary is the 20th. I'm like, no. So anyway,
it's a lot happening.
It's a lot happening.
Busy time.
So I hope we can like blow that up in the future, and we have these 5 acres that we love. And we hope we can do more of an outdoor thing, and we love Oktoberfest.
We do.
I don't know if, like, as a podcast,
if
we
you
love
haven't been listening,
Oktoberfest.
go back.
So I hope we can make it, like, this incredibly fun, and, like, I know it's kind of her parents' party, and, like, when she turns 1, it's definitely hers, but I do hope, like, we can have her friends over, too, and, like, our friends, and her friends are our friends, and our friends are her friends. And she can have this cool thing where, like, and she's in college, and you'd be like, hey, you know, like, I go back home for this weekend because it's my... I'm like,
I'm hoping you're thinking in the future, man.
And, like, she's going to be like, oh, my parents are dumb, but she's going to just be like,
I got to do
it!
Simtoberfest with my parents.
Like, let's do it!
She's going to get shirts made for all her friends.
Yes!
Or whatever they're doing in 20 years.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And then, you know, there's a lot of things... But I was going back through pictures, and the picture of you and I at Gays and Grays.
Oh, yeah.
And
also
we look like really young and really happy.
We look dewy, it's sweat, but I actually agree. We, like, that was a day, man. That was something to be proud of.
And I was just, it kind of summed up.
We look young.
We looked young and innocent.
It was just like 3 months ago.
It was 3 months ago. But I was, like, honestly just very proud of... yeah, this is hard to say without sounding whiny or douchey or something like that.
But you're used to that, guys.
You and I have really worked our butts off and done a lot of adaptation. And what people don't see is we had like 3 projects that we went really hard at, really fast, with really good quality, and we didn't get to do because of changing COVID things. And
at least 3.
And, you know, let's say it was, you know, it's tens of thousands of dollars worth of work that we had to just throw away. And
that we're now like, do we do this in 2021 or not?
And Gays and Grays was something we had in kind of a different form, but we adapted it. And despite a lot of haters and challenges, we made it happen.
I don't even remember it. It seems so long ago.
It was like such a great collaboration, and so many people came together, and like the things I think we like about events, and like we maybe get off on a little bit with events, like all of them happened. It was like kind of the advent calendar of shit, like checklist of things that day.
Advent calendar of misery?
Whatever it was. Like it was kind of a checklist, and we still made it happen. At the end of the night, we had Ron and Josie there with us, like helping us clean up, and it was like all of these things.
I love that.
Yep.
And like, no one thinks about that. You all go home, you had a great time, thanks for coming, and then like we have 2 hours of minimum of cleanup to do. So when our friends stay around and we can all like have a glass of wine while we're schlepping tables, that is amazing. So yeah, that was so fun.
So yeah, that came up in my like photo stream. I was like, you know, I was really proud of that. That was a really happy night. Mm-hmm. We both dressed up a little bit.
I know.
As much as we could. With
I put on earrings.
So
Birkenstocks with my dress,
So that would be like the third.
That was.
There's awesome. A lot more highlights, but that was the one where it's just like.
It was a lot of like, I don't know how. There were so many people that we knew that came, which meant so much to us, and then so many people we didn't know, which was so cool.
That table of younger people that legitimately are like, hey, is this like on street parking or like?
He called me earlier in the day and was like, well, like, is there somewhere to park? I'm like, yeah, we have a full parking lot. So do I just like park on the street? I'm like, no. So have you ever been here? And he's like, no. And they were like 21 and they came fully dressed up and they went in the store and they bought things and they enjoyed their dinner and they were so polite and lovely. And so like that to me was really cool. Seeing like Phil and Emily, having Shannon with her like brand new baby come help us set tables. Cool. Like it's cool when an event comes together and everyone helps. And I think that was like really truly the time that people were the first thing people really did.
Yeah, it was.
We had tables out in the field, completely spread apart, outdoors, and like we lucked the heck out with the weather.
Except for the wind.
Except for the wind until like the event started, and then there was no wind. But setting up
was
a nightmare.
Wind.
So anyway, it was cool. That's a good memory, man.
All right.
Oh, we could go on forever. So anyway, thanks for listening for our year in review.
Quick, because I want to make sure I talk about this.
Yes.
We're going to do a spice up your new year idea.
Oh, yeah,
We're going to spice up your new year meal plan.
Spice up your life. Yeah, of course. So our meal plan, we've been taking the time off, obviously, because we're not going to meal plan around your holidays because I don't know what you guys are doing for New Year's.
Do whatever.
Nick's making fancy food. I'm eating peppermint ice cream. So whatever. So going into the new year, we're doing spice up your new year. And yeah, we're doing all spicy recipes. I chose
Bridget's
one,
favorite.
in case you don't love the spice as much. I was eating like spicy Thai food the other night. Thinking of this, oddly. So I chose a sweet and spicy Thai pork loin. Shocking.
My favorite is like, you're like, oh, I like Thai food. And like, oh, Tyler likes this? And like, no. Like, no.
THAI.
So confusing.
Oh, yeah. There was a restaurant in Milwaukee that was near our condo that was called Mai Tai. And it was like our favorite place to go. So like Tyler's nickname has been Mai Tai forever. Okay. Anyway, we love Thai food. So I obviously chose a Thai recipe.
This is a good recipe.
So it's pork. It's easy. It's affordable. My kids like it. You can dial down the spice. Although I gave Lucy some really, what I thought was relatively spicy stuff the other day, and she was good with it. Elliot,
She's a champ.
not so much.
She's gonna clean up the confetti while eating spicy New York food.
She's gonna lick the floor, lick the pavement in Times Square. So this one's easy to prep, put together. It doesn't take a lot of time. The prep time doesn't take a lot, but it is a 4.5 hour recipe.
Oh, because it's slow cooker.
Yes. So throw it in the slow cooker. Forget about it. Good way to start off your new year. I'd say you don't have to stress about dinner.
My pick is because ultimately what I say in this is something I have to make for Sarah. And this week,
Love this.
I'm starting the new year getting ahead and outsmarting the system. This is something Sarah cooks for herself, cooks for her family because her family loves it. She introduced it to them. It was something she's always had, we all know and love, but we take it to a new level.
Yes.
Chorizo and Queso Dip. Y'all know I have a special place in my heart for Lavendaire. It's
disgusting.
but genetically engineered to be perfect for melting and dips like this.
And last forever.
You add our chorizo sausage, it makes it amazing.
I know, I have not tried this.
And we have some smoked mac and cheese upstairs that I think Sarah and Simone are eating for lunch. Then I used a little bit of leftover Velveeta.
Whoa.
I mean, I make a bechamel first and then fold in the Velveeta.
Yeah, that's how I make my mac and cheese too.
But, you know, it's very delicious. So this is a recipe Sarah does a great job making. We'll probably have it. It's wild card weekend. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the Packers win this week and don't have to play wild card weekend.
Last week's game? Yeah.
Go Pack Go.
Sorry, Bears.
So, all right. It's time for
Kid Corner. Do we count this as the last of 2020 or the first of 2021?
I think we count this as last 2020 because it's
Same.
as we recorded. You know, I went to law school. I learned just a small number of things, but if you dropped a check at 11:59 p.m., it's postmarked on 12/31. It was sent on 12/31.
All right, man.
So it's when we recorded.
That's good because mine's a recap of Christmas. And listen, I know Kid Corner is supposed to be funny. We talk about weird things our kids did, but I just gotta tell you, the magic. So yes, like Lucy doesn't care or know about Christmas. She opens presents like kind of one thing at a time. But man, Elliot is at an age like he gets it. I think next year is going to be the prime. But then soon after that, I think like there's going to be asshole kids that ruin Santa. So I'm really sad about that already. So this year he like got it. He was full in on Santa, all over the reindeer and the food they eat. But so like that was
He
great.
was big into the snacks for Santa. He told me about it.
He woke up on Christmas Eve morning and was like, we have to make cookies for Santa. We're like, yeah, man, like, we'll get to it. It's 6 a.m. Yeah, but we have to. And he went to the fridge immediately and got the milk and was like, we have to put it out. Like, Santa comes at night while you're sleeping. He's like, so probably 4 or 5 times that day he went to the fridge being like, okay, is it time? And I'm like, this is my fault. I've taught you to plan. And I can't
Were
tell
you proud though?
I mean, a little. But also like, no, dude, this is a trick we use to get you to sleep. And he like ran to bed that night. It was the most amazing thing. So the magic. But moreover, like longer lasting, the snow. And we just got dumped on yesterday, day before.
Yes.
Overnight, right? Like the perfect amount of snow for a snow day type of thing. Like it happened all overnight. But dude. So I busted Elliot out. Yes, Elliot's at daycare this week because like I still have a job and Tyler has a job. So our kids are going to daycare, but like
keep up the quality or you won't.
Or you won't, Bridget. So I busted him out early. You know, I busted him out at 2:00 and we went sledding because like now it's supposed to rain tomorrow. And I don't want the snow to go away because he literally is like wakes up this morning. He woke up and was like, oh, there's still snow here and there's more than yesterday. I'm like, no, actually there's not. It's the same amount, but yes. So anyway, just like, you know, magical time of year. And yes, I'm talking about Elliot. Lucy doesn't give a crap about the snow and doesn't really understand Christmas, but she might next year. So I just love, like, January, what I look forward to is the snow because, like, it's great to expel all the energy the kids have, and I like playing in the snow.
I do too.
Yeah, here we are.
My story isn't a Christmas one. Simona had fun at Christmas, but, like, still too young.
Yep.
And it was just nice. Sarah and I, we got to be home. Use Simona as a, you know, reason to be home. That was very nice. But we're not here to talk about Sarah and I. We're here to talk about Simona, who has started being very clear about what she wants in very cute and adorable ways. Like this morning, she has her morning milk in a very specific spot on our couch with some pillows, and then she gets a blanket over her and she sits there and drinks her milk, and we're calm while we drink it because if we're not calm, we're going to spit it up all over. And so when, you know, we get her up and she plays a little bit, and then at some point she decides she wants her milk, and usually she decides that by going milk. But what she started doing this, like, last couple days in particular, is she crawls up on the couch, puts herself on the pillow, and looks at you expectantly.
I love that.
And that means you bring her milk.
That means bring me my milk, bitch.
Sarah has started sending me pictures. When it's snack time, she takes the blanket off the couch, puts it down on the floor, grabs the book she wants, grabs the remote control, and starts, because she gets to watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse while she's eating her snack.
Yep. Oh my god, I love
this. So
this.
she sets up her space and then looks expectant at you. And she might not have her words yet,
but she has her words.
But she is very
awesome.
clear. So it's just like really cool to see that, and it's helpful.
This is why kids thrive on a routine. This is 100% like my blanket goes here while I get my snack, okay? Give me my Mickey Mouse. I love that. Ooh, man, she is going to be demanding. Like her pal Lucy. Guys,
we blame all of the bad behaviors on Lucy.
I mean,
not even the bad behaviors, the like demanding behaviors.
The demanding, snarky. Lucy got her matching shoes to Simona. She got them at Christmas, so maybe she'll wear them around Simona soon.
Oh my gosh,
they've got matching kicks. Yeah, I love.
We should like set up a we could put them at the shop, like on the kill floor.
Oh my god, no!
Hanging out on the knocking pen.
I've never been back there.
And it'd be like super straight out of.
Not putting my kids back there.
Oh, it'd be like the biggest thing ever.
I love that Adidas
kicks.
Adidas kicks are back. Like, oh man, look at these cool shoes. And I'm like, dudes, I wore these shoes in high school. So like influencers that are talking about these shoes now. These are vintage, okay? So, anyway, whatever. Our girls got kicks.
We got some time on this one, so thank you for listening.
You're welcome.
We think this was fun.
I don't know, I think so. I hope you're kicking off your... Dude, hope you're kicking off your 2021 in a positive way. Like
remember, stand on your right foot.
Literally as I'm standing on my left. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a safe, happy, wonderful New Year's, and cheers to 2021.
I have nothing more to say.
I have one more sip. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Bye.